You better shape up, 'cause I need
Rate hike.
Not another one?
Well, much like Danny and Sandy's sweet summer romance, it's not official. But there is a painful prediction from Deutsche Bank. We could be looking at 4 more rate hikes of 25 basis points in February, March, May and August to take Australia's cash rate to 4.1%. And that's left some of us singing, "It's what we don't want."
Motos are bracing for more financial pain.
It's almost certain
interest rates will rise again.
The only way is up.
Renters are typically doing it a lot tougher than homeowners in Australia, almost by definition, and that's why we need to be really careful about this. Inflation is above the Reserve Bank's target range.
New figures today showing retail sales actually fell 3.9% last month for the first time in a year. Aussies reining in the white-hot spending as cost of living bites.
And it looks like the cost of living increase, the deterioration in real wages and the surge in interest rates, they're all now starting to bear down on Australian households.
And another Deutsche Bank prediction, unemployment to rise from 3.5% to 4.5% by 2024.
Generally speaking, anything under 5% is considered full employment to many economists. If you do see these headline inflation numbers, you do not have to fear, because some of the categories that have increased inflation might not even impact you at all.
You don't have to take this economic uncertainty lying down.
Refinancing hit a record high. $19.5 billion worth of loans were refinanced in the last data set that's come through.
I believe when you want to buy a home to live in, the best time to do it is when you have the money and it's the right time for you.
So is there more economic pain to come, or could we almost be over the worst of it and slowly heading back to those summer nights?
optimism. Nicki Hutley is the one that we want. It's good to see you, Nicki.
I'm glad to be here.
Hey, Deutsche Bank's grim predictions actually on the money here?
Look, I don't think so, but, you know, you can ever get 3 economists in a room and get 5 different opinions, and that's exactly what's going on at the moment. Deeply uncertain economic times, but most of us are a lot more optimistic than they are. They're really down the bears end of the spectrum. Most of us are thinking there certainly will be 1 more interest rate rise, possibly 2, but 4 is, you know, that's literally saying we want the economy to tank, and I don't think the Reserve Bank's there by a long shot.
Just on that, if we can get 3 economists in a room and get 5 opinions, what's the point asking you?
Well, you might say the same of weather forecasters. And the point of the economics is, look, we know what the central case is, we know what the most likely is, but people don't always behave rationally. Things come out of the blue, wars happen, pandemics happen. And so you have to say, this is most likely, but here are the risks. And that's the most sensible way to listen to an economist, is to say, right, this, if they're just saying this will happen, I wouldn't listen to them, to be honest.
All right, permission not to listen. I love it. Hey, one of the things that I did note, though, we are seeing, and this seems to be hard data, is that we're seeing spending slow down. So Christmas spending was down, which I did not expect to see. That's obviously taking money out of the economy, so that's a good thing as far as inflation is concerned. Do people need to keep their credit cards away if we're going to avoid these interest rate rises?
Well, that's what the Reserve Bank would like you to do. I mean, they're not putting up interest rates just for the hell of making people uncomfortable. What they're trying to do is slow the economy down, and a big part of the economy is what you and I spend. So if you keep your money in your wallets, if you keep your wages under control, then it's likely that we'll see the end of this interest rate cycle pretty soon, and the sooner we get interest rates to actually go down again. So that's what we all want.
Nicki, your whole life is about big picture spending, but have you got any advice for the small spenders like me? I'm a renter, so have I actually become the smartest person in the world at the moment?
Look, you know, I'm going to have to say it depends, because if you bought a house 5 years ago or 10 years ago, or like me, you know, in the last millennium, you're probably doing okay. It's good to be old sometimes. But, you know, really obvious things. Spend within your means. Don't build up enormous credit card debt. In fact, you know, think about having a credit card at all. I think debit cards are better. Think about what you need to save for the future and just, you know, live within your means. We're a bit too materialistic these days, and there are a lot of things that we actually don't need to have.
Or just figure out a way to make more money. And on that, Nicki, I mean, I wasn't going to raise this, keeping it to myself, but you look like a good kid. I'll throw you a break. I'm thinking of maybe doing a live tour of just me performing Grease songs, I have a spot for someone to be part of the duet. Would you like me to cut you in?
Oh, my goodness, you shouldn't ask me that. I love singing. I love Grease.
Oh.
You know, when I was a teenager, the one that I want was on replay on summer nights. Love it.
All right,
I'll be there.
That's great. It's good to register your interest. Would you like to audition for us now?
Right now?
Yep.
You're the one that I want. You're the one I want.
Rehearsal starts Monday, Nikki. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me on.